You're forcing me to say this, but it's like, can you not acknowledge the fact that Trump is the only person who apparently managed to get through the threshold of getting elected president while being a convicted felon? Like, who else can make that claim? I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying he's like a hero, but come on, like, you gotta admit, that's impressive.
I mean, a guy who basically like led the charge, like into the election infrastructure of the country, tried to overthrow it, facing charges against it, almost got arrested, was kind of like absolved of these charges, came back to rule the government, took over. I'm describing Hitler right now. I was having, I'm not joking. That was like this is like his story, like into politics.
Sorry, very nervous, but I've been a fan of yours since 2010 since StarCraft 2, so, you know, this is...
Jeez, 2010.
Yeah.
All right.
StarCraft 2.
Damn.
So...
And you're still a Trump supporter. Where did I go wrong?
Yes, but I will mention I am a registered Democrat. However, if I did vote...
Closer to the mic there.
Sorry.
Yeah, thanks.
I did vote. If I had to choose between Kamala and Trump, I would have voted for Trump. I did not. I foolishly voted for Jill Stein. But, you know, that's the position I feel at this day as a, you know, Hispanic American, you know, son of immigrants kind of situation.
Okay.
Should I start with making a claim, or would you like?
Yeah, if you want. Yeah, go for it.
So, I think the easiest one that I would push for is that Trump was the strongest candidate in the 2024 election based on electability. Charismatic, just, you know, likable.
I mean, I don't like him.
I know. I'm not saying you did.
And I would say for likable, I mean, he's the least, his popularity or approval ratings are the lowest of any president in U.S. history. So I feel like that's kind of hurts that argument a little bit.
I wouldn't say that I liked him, but I found him funnier, more entertaining, you know, like, than Kamala.
That might be the case, but like, I mean, like, it's not a stand-up comedy special. It's President of the United States, right?
I know,
like,
it's kind of hilarious, right? That you would think that, you know, the person who has, you know, the best interest for the... Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that, because hopefully we can agree to this. Do you either agree or concede that all of the candidates, Kamala, Biden, and Trump, have the best interests, you know, they want the best for our country? Do you agree with that, or do you disagree?
Absolutely not.
No? Okay. So we cannot agree to that. Well...
Wait, you think that Donald Trump has the best interest in the country at heart?
I want to believe so.
Can you explain Trump coin?
For his investors, like his, you know, his cronies, perhaps, yes. I mean, I would concede that.
That doesn't, the investors are not America, right? That's not.
Right, but like, what is, so it's America, okay. So that brings me to think about, okay, what is America? Are we not a capitalistic, you know, like, do you agree that we pursue, you know, the pursuit of, what's the American dream? Like wealth, happiness, something like that. But I'm not saying that he wants that for all of us, but all
Just
of us.
for the people that are investing in his company?
We all, why, and I'm gonna go to immigration after this, but I guess my response to that is it not like the American dream to have the opportunity to accumulate wealth for yourself and for your children as immigrants or as...
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Just a little closer to the mic there.
Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry
thank
about
you,
that.
thank you.
So do I believe that Trump represents, I'm not saying he's perfect, but does he represent the American dream? No, now, if that's for everyone, we can debate that. But like I said, I'm not the biggest Trump supporter, but I am unconvinced why Kamala would have been a stronger candidate than Trump.
I mean, what area? I mean, we could do like for rule of law. I don't think she would have been as violative of the law as Trump has been.
So in terms of legislation, I know that Trump passed recently the one big beautiful bill. He effectively is giving tax cuts, right? Deregulation, that is his claim to accomplishments.
Yeah, but I mean, for the tax cuts, I think it's kind of bad that he's giving tax cuts without pairing it with spending cuts if your goal was to reduce the deficit and the debt, right?
Right. I mean, I agree that Biden had a more comprehensive, more like long-term thought out probably strategy, but at the end of the day, at the end of, you're not going to like what I'm going to say next, I'm sorry. At the end of the day, I feel like Trump and basically the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, as coming out as a Democrat, I feel like they are two sides of the same coin, which is again why I disillusioned myself believing there could be a third, you know, foolish me for.
Well, so
thinking
again,
it would
like
be
we can
different.
focus on any particular area. I don't know how we can say they're two sides of a different coin when they have incredibly different positions on all the major areas of policy.
Well, I don't really want to go too much on a tangent, but for example, for surveillance, would you decide that Trump or Kamala are more pro, say, Big Brother surveillance state?
Well, given that Donald Trump just recently announced an investigation into Jack Smith because he was unhappy with being investigated by the DOJ, I would say I'm much more fearful of the guy who's writing specific lawyers' names into executive orders that he wants to prosecute, or the guy who's suing media companies because he doesn't like the coverage they're giving him, or the guy who's suing pollsters because he doesn't like the polls that they're issuing, or the guy who is asking for information about students to kick them out of the United States because they might support Palestine, or the guy who's using ICE to kick people out of the country with masks and invoking the Alien Enemies Act to do it, or the guy, I feel like,
Yeah. I mean, I want to talk about immigration exercise. That's very
Sure.
personal for me. But in terms of kicking people out of the country.
also, wait, what was the big company? This is like the one story I didn't follow because I usually don't care about this. I want to say Interferon. I know it's not that. What? Palantir. Oh, yeah. Weren't they trying to make some big like list of from Palantir or whatever of like U.S. citizen identities and all this? Wasn't that a huge deal?
Under the Trump administration?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm sorry, and please educate me. Would that not have happened under any circumstance, regardless of who won
I think
the
it was a
election?
very unique thing that the Trump admin was pursuing. Yeah. Like most
So-
of the things they pursue, they're very special.
I'm not even debating whether or not Palantir will be good or bad. I'm just making the claim that it would be a matter of fact that it would have happened anyway.
Well, but I mean, it didn't under 4 years of Biden. I don't think they were ever going to pursue anything like that. I don't think they ever had the desire or expressed the desire to pursue anything like that.
Well, I mean, it was the Biden administration, but it would have been Kamala who would have been. I'm not saying Kamala would have been a bad candidate. I'm not saying.
I
I'm
mean,
not
Kamala
attacking
didn't mention
her.
anything about pursuing relationships with anybody to monitor Americans more closely.
I was going to mention the what is it called? The Counterterrorism Act of 1995, which did not pass, but that was the precursor of the Patriot Act. I think in 2001, Biden had mentioned that, that's basically his bill, but, that somebody else pushed. But I don't want to go into like tangents, into like
We can
conspiracy
tangent as much as you want. When we're looking at the presidents, I don't understand where the equivalency comes from between what Kamala would have looked like to Trump. Like Kamala wouldn't have written executive orders targeting individual law firms, right?
Right.
Kamala probably wouldn't have gone after individual schools seeking 9-figure payouts for
I
she
like
thought they had DEI or didn't have enough DEI, right?
Well, I like where you're going with that because in my mind, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm, again, disillusioned, but Trump, he has, I guess, tactically, he does more actions, whether or not they're good decisions. He is more, I guess, impulsive. He makes irrational decisions, kind of like short-term decisions, where I feel like the Biden, like us in his, passing legislation would have been more, like say, for example, who increased the deficit more technically Biden, but he had countermeasures to kind of offset it. So it was more comprehensive, more, he was more strategic about his policy making compared to Trump, which may seem, short-sighted. You could argue it's more like a Queen's Gambit kind of strategy. It's like, oh, I'm just going to keep, forcing, cash in on my political capital and get the ball rolling now, rather than.
This idea of just giving credit to somebody for doing things, I don't think. Like if I go online, I sign up for I want like a dating coach, and one guy's like, oh well, I've 50 chicks, and the other guy's like, I've 1,000 chicks. I was like, I'm gonna go with the guy with 1,000 chicks, and then I go to this guy's like class, and I walk in, and it's Epstein.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the fact that the guy. Like that's just not a thing that I would be in favor of. Like, yeah, Donald Trump has a lot more actions, but I think they're really bad actions. And the fact that he's willing to do a lot of them, I don't think he gets props for that. Yeah.
And like I said, I'm upset that you're forcing me to say this, but it's like, can you not acknowledge the fact that Trump is the only person who apparently managed to get through the threshold of getting elected president while being a convicted felon? Like, who else can make that claim? I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying he's like a hero, but come on, like you gotta admit that's impressive.
I mean, a guy who basically like led the charge into the election infrastructure of the country, tried to overthrow it, facing charges against it, almost got arrested, was kind of like absolved of these charges, came back to rule the government, took over. I'm describing Hitler right now. I was having I'm not joking. That was like this is like his story, like into politics. So like, no, I wouldn't give him credit for that. No, I think that's more of an indictment on the average conservative mindset than it is a credit to Donald Trump. Like, it's not like Donald Trump like rose above his convictions and became a better person. He just doubled down.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, props. I mean, I do that sometimes, but I'm not the president of the United States.
He's a capitalist. He's, he may be selfish, but anyway, I'm not going there. I think, I guess my point on that, and we can move on to something else, but like I said, my point on whether the electability of Trump is he's kind of forcing things that would have happened slowly down the line, like we're living in a standard of living that's unsustainable, and he's basically saying, he is making drastic changes now, which is I don't agree with, by the way, like him kicking people out of the country, but the laws are the laws. We were going to reach
Well,
a breaking
except when
point.
they apply to Trump, right?
Say what?
Except when they apply to Trump, right?
Exactly. Do as I say, not as I do kind of mentality. Maybe that's him. I don't know. But anyway, like I said, I think he was the strongest candidate
Well, I mean, like total. I mean, he won the election, so I mean, obviously that's true. But
for a reason. Yeah, 'cause I'm saying the
for a
obvious.
reason, but I don't think those are good reasons. I think it's because of the conservative propaganda model in the United States and the fact that a lot of people have been hoodwinked into believing stuff that's just not true.
Yeah, I didn't make notes of this earlier, but I did make a note of it from a previous guest. So you were talking about a cult. I don't know if you watched Game of Thrones or
Unfortunately, yeah,
unfortunately, or read the books. The books are better.
not the books, no.
Okay, well, there was this one scene where Tyrion goes like, where does power reside? Do you remember that scene? Like between a king, a holy man, and the rich man. Like, if they all tell you to kill the other two, who gets to decide who lives and who dies, right?
Okay.
And at the end of the day, it's like, it's just a shadow on the wall. Like, anyway, the point I was trying to make with that is like when you
Well,
talk about
wait, what was the answer? What did he say?
it depends on, when you're. I was going to tie it into like the whole cult statement.
Okay.
Like, how do you define like, okay, who writes the book? Who is the authority? Who is the highest authority? And it depends. And like it's like I don't want to say it's a fugazi, but it's like it's not written in the Bible, like God or the Pope or the president. It's like you said, it could be the conservatives, whoever's got the majority, whoever speaks the loudest. And in this
Wait,
case,
it's not written. I mean, it's kind of written into the Bible who the highest authority is, right?
Wouldn't it be God?
Well, yeah, but like the Pope, I mean, if you're Catholic, is infallible when speaking on matters of church doctrine.
It's highly interpretable, right?
Well, no, it's whatever the Pope says, right?
But what if you're not Catholic?
Then you're not really religious, because as a Catholic, I don't agree with.
I respect your religion. I respect your religion.
Non-denominationalist or
I thought you were
spiritualist.
atheist. Come on.
Well, now I am, but okay, yeah, I don't know. Okay, wait, but I'm just going back to this thing, this idea that like would be the same under the Democrats and the Republicans. I felt like there's this weird world where I would say like the centristy or these legendary Democrat center-left people who all seem to vote for Trump and ardently defend every single thing he says or does,
I didn't.
right? Where they say these things where they're like, oh, I think it would have been the same for both of them. There is there's a thing, people say that like if you want to make a decision between two difficult things, then you should flip a coin. And then as the coin is in the air, however it lands, you can tell like what you actually want to choose based on how you want the coin to land. You might not know that until you actually flip the coin. And then as it's flipped, you're like, okay, God, I hope it lands heads or tails, If Donald Trump would have won and all of the people that were kind of like indifferent toward, or they said they were indifferent towards the outcome, both sides are the same anyway. If Donald Trump would have won and they would have been like, yeah, I mean, yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. Then I would have believed that. But the fact that you have like, Joe Rogan and all these other guys, like painting these tables with cum after Donald Trump wins the election. And they're like, oh my God, I'm so happy it was Trump. Who knows what it'll look like afterwards. That doesn't seem like indifference to me.
He's not a messiah. I'll agree to that.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it seems like there was a clear preference. People do think there's a difference between the two. And every single time, like if you were to poll a room of 100 people who are like, both sides are the exact same, why is it that 95% of these 100 people are all voting conservative? It seems like they don't believe they're the same.
I'm not saying they're the same. I'm saying long-term, the outcomes based on policy, kind of like the direction the country's moving culturally, which I agree there's cultural problems, it would have been generally in the same general direction. Like we're all going north, not taking the same roads. We might, deviate. We might,
I don't think there's any road where the United States was tariffing islands of penguins under a Democrat.
Yeah, probably. So
I don't think
again, probably, yeah. No, I will concede that. I mean, like I said, I did.
I don't think there was any road where a Democrat was talking about invading Greenland.
I mean, like you're forcing me to defend Trump, and
Well, yeah, because you've come here and you said you.
but let me wait. There's a reason why I say that, and it upsets me. It's like, and I say this truthfully or just somewhat kindly. Could you please tell me succinctly why I should have voted for Kamala instead of Trump? What is like, what would give me like, oh yeah, Daniel, get excited to vote for Kamala, like she is, the way or whatever.
No, I think it's a bullshit proposition because I think that in any other circumstance in life, it would be enough to give how absolutely horrible one side is versus the other. If I told you that the room on the left was just an ordinary, boring ass room, and it might even be like a little bit irritating because the light has a buzz, and I say that the other room has like razors that run across the floor, they're gonna slice you up until you die, and I say, you definitely don't wanna go in the razor room, nobody would stand there and argue, well, sell me the other one, right? Like, it's going to be either Trump or Kamala. We know what Trump is like. We've seen what he did in 4 years. We saw the lies and all the crazy stuff he pushed in the 4 years he was out of office. This idea that you have to make some positive argument on the left when it's going to be one or the other, no, I don't think you should have to. Now, I would make a positive argument. I would point to all the legislation that Biden did. I would point to the fact that for whatever I love Biden. I'm not going to throw him under the bus like Pisco does, okay? But for all of the tolerating of all the special counsels investigating him, investigating his son, putting Merrick Garland up there to, I'm not going to say he slow rolled the Trump investigation, but he definitely, they took their time and all of that. I would say that the example set there in terms of rule of law, in terms of how Biden was able to reach across the aisle and work with these demons, okay, that are go by Republican, the fact that he was able to do all this, I would say that was a much more positive direction for the country. And I would hope to have seen Kamala move more in that direction. I'd say those are positive arguments. And the fact that the rest of the world see the United States as a bit more reliable. Yeah.
Let me ask you this, and because I think this is why I'm upset about that situation. It's do you feel or do you think that the strategy to demonize Trump may have backfired?
Did the strategy to demonize Trump backfire? Every single strategy that you employ against a group of people that are fucking brainwashed will backfire. Like, people will say that demonizing Trump backfired, but Trump like demonizes himself. Like, I don't know, like what doesn't backfire for Trump?
But do you think that half of the country is like part of Trump's cult, or do you think that there's just enough of them that can convince the rest of the population, or enough of the population?
I don't know what it is, but like, how are you not supposed to? How are you not supposed to demonize? Like, when you say demonize Trump, right? What were the main attacks against Kamala? Like, that she wanted to trans all of our, youth across the country, that they wanted to, let in 50,000 trillion million illegal immigrants in the United States to rape and murder all of our dogs, that they wanted to, sell out the United States to foreign interests everywhere. Like, I mean, demonize, all the Republicans do are demonize. And then the only positive policies that Trump could even talk about for Make America Great Again were, extending the long dick of the United States to fuck every single other country's trade across the planet. And his whole thing was this spite-driven, like, we're gonna get even. These guys they ruined us on all these deals. And my good friend Abe from Japan, the only guy that apparently liked across the world, is like, yeah, he would have agreed with me, that all these guys were screwing us up. Like, everything from the MAGA movement is so spiteful and spite-driven and negative about the other side. Like, the idea that these are the guys who are like, oh, don't you think it backfired to be mean to Trump? And it's like, I don't know, like, what wouldn't backfire?
Well, I don't really care about them being mean to Trump. It's just like, at what point do you think, like, okay, are these people telling me the truth, or is it too hyperbolic where, at what point do you say, like, I don't trust the reporting to say, like, okay, he is unqualified. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't up to, like, okay, let's let the people decide and they'll judge for themselves who's the strong
at what
candidate.
point do you not trust the reporting? I mean, the guy is a caricature of the worst type of person that could ever run for president. Like, what do you mean? Like, what reporting wasn't trustworthy?
No, okay. First of all, I also don't agree with the demonization of the Democratic candidates. Like, first of all, like, I thought Trump was going to lose because of the amount of, like, ad hominem attacks against Kamala. Personally, I thought, even though I didn't vote for Trump, I thought he was going to lose, but I didn't, partake in his, not getting reelected or electing for Kamala. So I expected, personally, I'm just talking.
So did that cause you to change your perspective on maybe negativity actually might be the way to go from the party that has alligator Alcatraz?
I'm still waiting for the next Obama. Like, I was so excited when I turned 18 and I went to go vote for Obama, and I waited in line for 4 hours. I was like, yes, finally, I'm making a difference. We're going away from Iraq war. We're going away from Wall Street. Like, like, our savior has arrived. And then what did Obama do shortly thereafter? He bailed out Wall Street. That was a big, like,
we had the Affordable Care Act. We can say bailed out Wall Street, but like, the counter was letting the entire financial system of the United States collapse.
Right. No, I have opinions about that, which are,
Final thoughts there, Daniel.
Oh, wow. I wanted to go into immigration. So
I'm just saying, just as a real quick for that, because like I understand that us as Americans, we have a big country and we lose sight of the rest of the world. But like people look at like the bailouts of the banks and like, God, America fucked up with that. We say that as Americans. There is no other country on the planet. It's like, God, in America, they sure did fuck up when they bailed out their banks. Look at how much America has fallen since 2008 as the financial and investment capital and the tech capital and the military capital and the intellectual capital of the world. Like, wow, America should have up in 2008. Look at those losers. Like nobody else thought that except for Americans. Like,
let me wrap up by saying, like, I'm at the point in my life where I feel like compromise is my guiding principle at this point.
and you support the guy who has mean nicknames for all of his political opponents?
Yes, exactly. That's a compromise. That is a compromise.
Maybe a compromise on his morals. What is the compromise? When has Trump compromised with? How many people voted for the big beautiful bill on the Democratic side?
He's
what is the
pro
compromise?
Tax cuts. He is for deregulation. Do I love deregulation?
Those are all Republican positions. That's not a compromise on any of that.
No, I say for me personally, as a Democrat, to accept that over the...
It's not a compromise when only one side is the one giving everything. That's called getting taken advantage of.
So you would describe myself as being taken advantage of by the Republican Party?
No, because I would probably just describe you as a Republican.
I'm still debating whether or not to switch, but I'm still holding on for hope for a Democratic candidate that will, I guess,
You're saying you're debating this. Again, it's like there's a teenager who DoorDashes food too much to an apartment, and it's like, do I want this guy to babysit my kid, or do I want Ghislaine Maxwell, who's about to get out of prison, to be my new babysitter, right? Because I guess she's gonna be looking for work soon. Well, that's not fair. Donald Trump might put her in a cabinet position, okay, right?
Yeah.
But it's like the fact that there's even a question between these two things, it's like it's not even remotely comparable. Kamala was more qualified. Biden had a better 4-year track record. Like the Democrats showed that they were willing to adjust strategy if they needed to. Donald Trump. Not only did Donald Trump double down from what he ran as in 2016, like they just literally buried their head in the sand as the 2020 election was completely rigged. How is there? I'm just so curious. I'm like, what? Give me like one thing where you look at both sides. You're like, well, I think that I have a genuine dispute in how I think that both sides will function here, without saying trans.
Wait, what? Say that again?
Without involving trans people. What is the one dispute between the two sides where you're like, I kind of see both sides of this issue?
Would I see both sides of this issue?
What is Trump in your mind making it a difficult decision on?
Well, I mean, like for starters, the economy trying to keep unemployment low, I think sounds like a reasonable goal.
Unemployment was lower under Biden than Trump. After COVID, that's like an accomplishment, right? And Donald Trump came in.
Is your position that Trump would kick out like all Hispanics? For example, I wanted to go to immigration. Is that your position? That is like he is just like foaming at the mouth racist that he wants the worst for us. He's like out to get us.
It's not about wanting the worst. I'm just
whether
saying
if it's true or not. It's
Donald Trump had to say that we were at war with Venezuela to kick out Venezuelans faster. That's crazy to me.
I think it's crazy too. I do not agree.
Why you agree with me? Stop agreeing with me.
Because when you
I don't know why this happened. I don't know how to deal with this. Okay, I don't know how to. I don't understand this. Is it every time I just had a conversation?
You're describing a caricature rather than like
a alligator. This is like 10 miles from my house. It's not a caricature. It's real. It's a place.
Do you believe that the president should enforce immigration laws? I mean, I'm not trying to say how he implements it. I'm not even going there about like, okay, he's like, he's racist or he hates brown people. I'm saying like,
it's not. I don't understand.
Is it part of his job?
Here's what I don't understand. Okay, I had a conversation yesterday with a very nice guy. Okay, Ryan, I love him, lawyer guy, cool dude. Every single position that I bring up, it's like, okay, I agree Trump is horrible here. I agree Trump is horrible here. I agree Trump is horrible. I agree Biden was better here. I agree Biden was better here. I agree Biden was better here. But I'm still having this dispute between both people.
Do I think both Biden or Trump would enforce the border or like, protect the border? I think both of them would. But when you say that one absolutely wouldn't, it makes me question why would you say that, right? What
do you mean one absolutely wouldn't? What are we saying?
I'm saying that both of them have the responsibility to secure the border.
Yes.
Now, when you're saying that one of them wants to deport us brown people because he hates us, I'm like, are you being genuine about that, or are you?
I don't know. I don't know if it's necessarily about deporting brown people or not. But I'm saying in terms of their first of all, just on a macro level, their demeanor towards people of other countries, I think, is dramatically different. I would say that Trump comes across, and the Republicans in general come across as far more insanely hateful than the Democrats do.
There's culture problems. Yes, there are awful culture problems in this country. Yes.
No.
No, but
no, wait. I didn't say in this country, and I didn't say culture problems. I said that the Republicans and Donald Trump and his administration come off as hateful about certain types of immigrants, right?
I would entertain the idea that that is a possibility. Yes. What do you want me to say? Because then the logical
Here's my
next step is
question.
to then compare that to the Democratic Party.
If Biden would have created something called white re-education camps and thrown white people into there to wokeify them, would you be saying,
That's bad. Yes.
you would say that's bad? You wouldn't say, well, I'm seriously entertaining the possibility that I might be opposed to this.
Well, what I'm saying would
Here's what I'm saying. Okay? I'm just kidding, because this is stream live on YouTube.
Listen,
I
you've
can't
been
say,
talking
hold on,
about
no,
the
no.
education
There will
system
never
because I
be-
hate both sides for it.
This is the difference, okay? Is that the Republicans made fun of AOC for going to the border and saying that she was like taking fake pictures to seem like she cared about an issue. That was the charge from the Democrats. And the Republicans are pushing out videos with like Punisher music with
care.
Navy
Okay, I mean, I
SEAls,
do care about
or they're
that, yes.
sending people like Nancy Mace, okay? Half this woman's face is paralyzed from Botox, okay? She doesn't know anything about, she doesn't even know what habeas corpus is when
Right.
questioned in front of Congress. She's taking video in front of Venezuelans locked in cages, or people that were deported from the United States locked in cages behind her, doing these like badass videos. That difference there, does that not come across? Like, I gotta ask, as a, I don't know if you immigrated like later in life, or if you were born in the United States.
I was
immigrant
born
parents.
here, but my parents came here.
Okay, does it not bother you that the administration holds that view of people from other countries, from countries your
Of course,
parents?
it would bother me, like at a personal level, but like on a policy level, okay, if you say, for example, for inner city schools, right? Like you say today, I was out there handing backpacks, trying to volunteer, trying to make a difference in my local community. It's like, would I be better off with the Democratic or the Republican Party? It's like, how is that going to impact me today to make a difference for kids going to school and getting an education and being more, more functional members of society?
Okay, I'm curious. I'm gonna say, okay, so
At a
let's say-
local level.
I'm gonna okay, a local level. Let's say that I mask and I don't show you the names, and some guy says, and he comes out and he says, I think that we shouldn't be funding lunches for school children. Do you think that's a Republican position, or do you think it's a Democrat
To
position?
be honest, personally, perhaps I'm ignorant, but I don't know. Perhaps I am just not as educated as the rest of you.
Who cut the Department of Education that just like was 15% of the budget of most of the local
Yes.
schools across the United States?
Yes, I'm aware of the what do you call it, the social programs that were cut by the One Big Beautiful Bill. So do I like
So
that?
how are
No.
we both sides seeing this?
Do you? But okay. If it was under the Biden administration, do I feel like we'd be so much better off? That's what I'm waiting to hear about, like the promised land that my
Well, the
party
Department
would
of
offer me.
Education wouldn't have been cut, right?
Right, there would be more money spent on these social programs. But
So that's one thing, right? Yeah. There wouldn't have been this outward derision and
if you
hatred
would have
aimed towards.
convinced me that my kids would be like guaranteed to like go to MIT under Biden than Trump, then I would have voted for Biden right then and there.
It's not.
Okay,
like,
okay, maybe the
it's
standards are too
not-
high.
Here's what I can
I'm
say.
being
Here's
hyperbolic,
what I say.
but that's where I'm going.
It's not about whether or not your kids would go to MIT. It's that under Joe Biden or Kamala Harris, I at least wouldn't have the question whether or not MIT would exist in 4 years. Okay? Like,
I hope that you're right. I am rooting for that. If the Democrat Party, like, it convinces me that it's not
why
just
did it
lip
have to
service,
convince you?
because they want, if
It's
they
like
want,
we're arguing about whether it'd be better to get a hand job from somebody with calloused hands or Edward Scissor fingers. Like, it's not like, it's
You
not,
don't-
it's not even remotely close on any of these issues. There is no Democratic allocator Alcatraz. There is no Democratic AI Navy SEALs videos going out from the government Twitter accounts about like owning immigrants. There's not making up lies
you're
about
not
like eating the
entitled
cats
to
in the
my
yard.
vote. I think you have to, like, there has to be a conversation. We have to find some common ground.
What's our ideal Democrat candidate?
Better than Kamala. Kamala was not good enough.
So Kamala she was a DA, she was a California Attorney General, she was a senator, then she was vice president. What more did you need, or what else did you want to see from a candidate? Maybe it's not qualifications. What else do you want to see?
And for myself, I hate to say this, but it would be, no, like I said, it's not a great answer, but she was not charismatic enough, which makes me kind of ashamed to say that, hey, maybe she wasn't funny enough, maybe she didn't crack enough jokes, maybe she wasn't like,
If you say, okay, wait. If we say charismatic, okay, isn't the point of,
unfortunately that has to do with the electability of a candidate, does it not?
if that's what the American people want to elect, sure.
I myself,
Isn't it more important to have like a qualified leader than just the guy who can crack the best joke?
100%.
So then why then
Pride in the band.
yeah, I just don't understand
I'm still trying to. I mean, okay, even if I can see that all your points are correct, I still have
Well, hold
to.
on. You
I
think
still,
we don't even disagree on anything
I
so
still
far.
have to wake up and be like, I'm going to vote for Kamala. Like that still has to happen mechanically, right?
Yeah.
So that did not happen. I mean, I'm
Yeah, but
sorry
I'm
that
trying
I
to figure
didn't
out
vote for
why.
her.
I'm trying to figure out why. Like, what was missing?
I did not feel that she was the strongest candidate. I mean, that's what I said at the very
Because she didn't
beginning.
have the best jokes.
Unfortunately, she just did not appeal to me. I don't know I don't know how else to describe it to you.
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out how.
If you want to go by policies, like I never listened to her long enough in her debate for me to actually like pay attention to, like. But Bill Clinton convinced me like, when I saw his 1990 debate with was it like George W. Bush Sr. And when George W. Bush was saying like, "Oh, you don't understand the macro level," and then Bill Clinton came out and said like, "If there's somebody who got fired, I know them." Like he related on a personal level on live national television. I didn't see that in Kamala.
Do you feel like Donald Trump, the billionaire real estate mogul
sure he
from New York City, relates to you more than Kamala Harris?
Not really, no. But more. I mean, sorry. Yes, the last thing you said compared to Kamala. Yes, unfortunately, that's how I feel.
In what way do you feel like Trump relates to you?
I feel like he is more direct.
What?
I feel like he's more direct to the point. Like he is more blunt. Like he doesn't BS. I feel like with
Donald Trump, I feel like. Hold on.
What?
I feel like Donald Trump BS's on every point that he talks about.
well, he's a better BSer than Kamala. That's all I would say. I mean, do I like either one of them? No, but one's a better BSer than the other.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what else to tell you.
Stop, chill. Hey, calm it down.
Would you like me to lie to you?
I guess I don't know what I don't know what the path forward is for Democrats. If the sole qualifier for being should Daniel Tosh or whatever run for office or
If he had like an army of like qualified lifelong government politicians, maybe.
wait, who has that? Donald Trump didn't have that. What do you mean?
Because he probably fired them. I don't know. Like
All right,
that's why I said he's more
final
like a
thoughts
Queen's
there,
Gambit kind
Daniel.
of guy than
Do what?
He's more that's why I said he's more like a Queen's Gambit kind of guy than what's the other one? Like more like a traditional opener, like more strategic. Like I said, he's more like speaks from the gut and maybe he doesn't really think through his positions.
I don't understand what the gambit is that we're playing here. What
He
do we?
sacrifices pawns all the time. That's why he gets rid of people like who don't.
Yeah,
do what
but he
says.
doesn't like. I'm imagining playing against I don't
not
know.
great.
I'm imagining playing against like a chess master, and I'm
think
just like
he's not that smart,
sacrificing
right? I
every
know.
piece, and I'm like gambit,
That's what I'm
gambit,
saying.
gambit. Like gambit implies like a risk for some reward. Donald
Yes.
Trump just loses.
So you think he's not that smart of a guy? I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like you think
I think he's
like
fucking retarded. Yes.
Okay.
Like for instance, so you talk like here's like this is the easiest thing I ask is like so we said that he's like this guy that like does all these gambits.
I don't think he's a genius.
Sure. Okay, that's an understatement. But like, can we think of a single one deal that he got in the 5 years that he's been president that we thought all this gambiting stuff was worthwhile for?
Well, I mean, somebody had mentioned the tariffs. I'm not supporting the tariffs, but
Okay, we don't have any deals from that yet. Just one thing. He had 4 years as
he's
president. and
attempting to do it. But I'm not saying it's a good decision.
What about his first term? What was the one? Was there any amazing, crazy, good gambit deal thing ever?
It's only going to be the tax cuts, which is going to be kind of obvious. Going to be kind of like the one beautiful bill, which I mean, it seems like low hanging fruit. Why wouldn't he do that?
So tax cut. Well, hold on, wait. So tax cuts were not an amazing gambit. That's just the standard Republican position.
Right. But I was saying it was a short-sighted move.
No.
and
I'm saying he has this reputation of being this
acknowledge-
amazing deal maker. I don't know what deals he's made.
I can see that when he cuts social programs like Medicaid, like millions of people are probably going to get cut. That's what I'm saying. I don't think he is acting like long-term, but he does make decisions. I mean, I don't understand.
He makes decisions. I feel like we're having I feel like we're having a meeting for like a school like IEP for like a retarded student, and we're like. Today he walked to class without falling over and hitting himself in the face, and then he wrote all over the piece of paper, which is good.
So what's your explanation on why he won the presidency? How did he is it because people are just that cult-minded?
Yeah, right now, yes. Yeah, I think that's the issue.
You think I'm a cult
yes.
supporter?
Yes.
Really?
Well, because
Okay.
I'd ask you after everything we've talked about, what right now you would still think that we did a better job choosing Donald Trump over Kamala Harris. Right now, yeah?
I mean, do I feel convinced after speaking with you today that I'm more
No,
more
that like
anti-Trump?
right now, if you could go back in time and say we should have had Kamala Harris instead of Trump as president, do you think that's true, or do you think we were better off still, despite everything that's happened, for Donald Trump being president versus Kamala Harris?
Are you saying that we'd be better off with Kamala Harris? Is that what you're
Right now, yes.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like, I hope so. but I don't know. Like again, like if you want me to like say what you want me to say,
No, it's
I
not
will
saying-
say
I just-
so, but I don't believe it.
It's not saying I just don't even know like on what singular possible position we could possibly say that maybe immigration to the border, maybe. But even at that,
Oh.
Biden showed a willingness to support like legislation at the end of his term that would have gone way further than the single executive order that Trump signed. Like, I don't understand how we were so afraid. What were we so afraid of? I'm just curious. What was like a worse outcome? Give me like the top two things. You're like, okay, Kamala Harris president, this is what's gonna get fucked up. Like, what would we get so worried about?
Worried about Kamala or worried about Trump?
Kamala Harris, if she would have been elected, what are like the top two things you're like, oh, this could go really bad?
This is gonna sound probably bad at this point in time, but I feel like no, not trans. Do you believe that Trump is the strongest Israel supporter candidate?
Yes, he is. Trump is the strongest Israel supporter.
Okay, and do you support the support of our ally in the Middle East?
I support our ally in the Middle East. I don't think we need to be supporting everything Netanyahu is doing unconditionally right now, though, no?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But then how do you agree with Trump?
At that point in time, during the election,
You think that Kamala would have been a stronger Israel supporter than Donald Trump?
No, I'm saying the opposite.
Yeah, so wouldn't Kamala have...
At that point, I'm talking about during the election season. I'm talking about...
No, but I'm saying right now, I'm saying what would have been a concern for Kamala Harris versus Trump? Do you think that Kamala would have pulled the plug on Israel completely?
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that Trump went on record saying, like, there is no stronger supporter to Israel than I. At that point in time, he said that like I said, his convictions, even if they were false, the messaging was there.
So hold on. So the strongest issue that you have, you're not Israeli, right? Just making sure.
I am not Israeli.
Okay,
Why would I
So the strongest thing that we would have worried about under Kamala is that if she was elected, she might not have supported Israel strongly enough.
Not as strong as Trump. I think that was the claim, and I believe.
But that would have been one of your top issues where you're like, we fucked up. We didn't help Israel enough.
I'm giving you an example. You're pushing me to say, like,
No, I'm not just, I'm asking, okay, let's pretend that we didn't do that. I'm just asking, okay, hold on, where was I? I'm just asking, like, what is your top one or two issues? Not just, don't pick around anything.
Immigration. I said that.
Okay, so the fact that Biden was willing to fully support a piece of legislation that would have incorporated what Donald Trump did as an EO and then gone much further, that wasn't a signal to you that like, oh, well, maybe Democrats could do like better as well. Do you think it would have been just as bad? They wouldn't have done anything on the...
Immigration reform, that's what I'm saying. It would have inevitably happened. There would have been a breaking point. The laws needed to be enforced at some point. It needed a comprehensive resolution.
Well, none of this happened under Trump yet, and it's not going to happen in 4 years, right?
Donald
Trump will not. There will be no comprehensive immigration legislation by the end of Trump's term.
I don't think it's a net benefit that he's spending more money on ICE, than deporting the people who like grow our foods, do these like really important jobs that, immigration overall is good for the country. That's what I believe. I know. This is gonna be crazy. I know you're gonna like what I'm saying is that this was gonna happen under whoever was president. He's basically forcing that to happen now.
Why do you think that?
Because unfortunately, he is taking a position where like a lot of people's, I don't want to say racism, but a lot of stuff is coming out that would have, there's no like hiding like, oh, like I wonder what they really think. It's pretty much out there right now. That's how I feel about the situation on immigration.
Do you think Donald Trump makes that better or worse?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. In the long run, okay, fine, I will answer. In the long run, it will be better because it is better that this happens now than in the future. Because it would have gotten progressively worse. It would have been like a boiling frogs kind of situation.
Any final thoughts there, Daniel?
Hey, I'm sorry. I hope I made some sense. It's a pleasure speaking with
you. You guys,
I'm still waiting
give
for
some love to Daniel. This is not easy to get up here and do
I pray
this.
for a Democratic candidate.
Great work, Daniel.
Thanks, I appreciate the combo.